Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Rallied. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the best 5 loadouts you want to be running for the remainder of Season 1.5. We do only have a couple days remaining, but I'm going to be doing one of these every single season or major patch, so you guys are kind of up to date with exactly what you guys want to be using. I'm going to be throwing in SMGs, ARs, snipers, and shotguns as well, and as like a bonus, like best shotgun, best sniper of each season. So make sure you guys are liking and subscribing for more. That being said, let's go and hop into the head honcho #1 meta gun in the game currently. And that, of course, is going to be the Ram 7, guys. Now, there's a bunch of different ways to build this. This is not actually the way I build it, but this is going to be the easiest way to use this gun. It's going to be the HVS pad, which is going to go ahead and crank up your recoil stats. I love this new feature as well. For me, I play on flipped, so I just press my left trigger, and it literally shows you what every single attachment does. So I just love doing that, kind of comparing different attachments, maybe building for max recoil and maybe fastest ADS. The Cronin Headwind barrel is going to go ahead and give you absurd damage range and bullet velocity. And the Bruin Heavy Support is going to go ahead and give you some nice horizontal recoil control. And it's going to go and hurt your vertical a little bit, but vertical is pretty easy. You just kind of have to pull your analog stick or pull your mouse down. So it's very easy to control, whereas horizontal, not so much. And then, of course, it's going to be 60 round drum mag as well. And guys, this is where you could go ahead and kind of interchange exactly what you want to, what kind of a build you're looking for. So the Jack BFB is going to give you the best overall recoil control. This is what a lot of people opt for, but me personally, I don't like being an advanced UAV dot, especially in solos. So I actually go for the Cassis Break because it does get rid of that horizontal recoil control, what we were talking about earlier. And it kind of gives you a little bit more accuracy as well. It seems like it gives you more or less visual recoil. But obviously, it's not going to be as easy to control. But you're going to go ahead and avoid being that advanced UAV dot. And also, if you just want to be completely off the radar, it is not completely foreign to go ahead and throw on Spirit Fire on your gun and go ahead and just have no dot at all when you shoot. So this is going to be good if you're like to play a little bit slower in solos and you don't want people to know where you're at. This is going to be the #1 SMG in the game. And honestly, unlike the Ram, I really think that this is just kind of the best build overall for mobility, strafe speed, recoil control, the whole 9 yards. So I go ahead and I throw on the folding stock. It's going to go ahead and give you a bunch of recoil control. It barely hurts your ADS as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw on the PCS-90 assault grip as well. It's going to give me even more recoil control. The 50 round drum, of course. And the DR6 hand stop is going to go ahead and give me the strafe speed, kind of like, it's going to basically give me what... It's going to give me the movement, whereas the other attachments give me the recoil control. And last but not least, guys, I'm going to go ahead and throw on the Zech MN35 compensator flash hider, guys. This is literally the longest attachment name I've ever seen in my life. But it's very nice because it does give you vertical recoil and horizontal recoil control. This gun doesn't have very much horizontal recoil control. But the best part about this, guys, is that it does not... when you shoot using this attachment, your red dot actually lasts half as long as a normal red dot. So once again, guys, I don't like people knowing where I'm at, especially if I'm playing solos. A lot of people do like using this Jack BFB, but I just don't really agree with being an advanced UAV dot for 3 seconds. I believe it's 2 or 3 seconds. So I definitely want to be off that radar as much as possible. If you're trying to win games, it's just going to be the easiest way to win games. So now if you do like a sight, if you're one of those guys, I was like this before on the Swarm, especially where I like to have the NIDAR Model 23 or whatever sight I do like to use. You could definitely opt to take off the hand stop for a kind of less mobile build, but you're going to be an absolute laser beam. Or you could go ahead and take off that assault grip. And it's going to have a little bit more recoil, but you can still have that nice mobility and have a sight. So you can kind of just experiment with whether or not you prefer it with the underbarrel off or with the rear grip if you do really like using a sight on yourself. Next up, a gun that I don't see a lot of people running, guys. It's going to be the SVA. This gun is actually, I feel like it's really, really underrated, and I don't see anyone using it. Even with high grain rounds on and everything, if you put this thing into single fire, it is legitimately the most accurate gun I have ever used in Warzone. It will literally peel somebody off any head glitch at any range. All you have to do is line up your shot and just put it in burst mode, and it literally has no recoil whatsoever. So because of that, I do actually opt for the sonic suppressor instead of really focusing on recoil reduction attachments. I just kind of go for full bullet velocity on this bad boy and damage range. So I go ahead and throw on that sonic suppressor. I get the damage range. I get the bullet velocity. An absurd amount. 1100 bullet velocity in an AR is absolutely crazy. It's actually pretty close to hit scan. This thing actually has more bullet velocity than a sniper rifle. So definitely give this thing a try if you want just a super easy gun to use and if you want to be peeling people off head glitches. I'm going to go ahead and throw on the STV Precision Barrel as well. This is going to go ahead and crank up my recoil stats and my bullet velocity and my damage range. The Corio Eagle Eye, as always, guys, optics are always going to be up to you, completely preferential. I think the Corio Eagle Eye is without a doubt the most clean sight in the game, though. So that's what I run. I got the 60 round mag and the high grain for, once again, I'm not really worried about recoil on this bad boy because I have the that burst fire. So bullet velocity, damage range, absolutely cranked up here, 15%. I'm just gonna go ahead and go into the firing range and show you guys what I mean here. So if you go ahead and hold down the trigger, this is me not controlling recoil whatsoever. It does go a little bit, you know, it goes a little bit up, but all you gotta do, throw it on that single fire. Guys, I am not touching my right stick. I am not touching my right stick, guys. This is absolutely absurd. So I just crank it up for bullet velocity and damage range. And guys, this is probably the easiest gun to use in this entire game right now. I highly recommend checking it out. The #1 sniper build in this game right now is going to be the KATT still. A lot of people are opting to use this high velocity over the spire point rounds. I can't really justify it because I know that you are definitely aiming for the head, but I'm losing damage range as opposed to right here. This is a net 10, it's not 10% more damage range to throw the spire point rounds on over the high velocity, and I'm only losing 40 meters per second. So once again, that's your decision to make here, guys. If you guys want to be on team high velocity or team spire point, I just rock the spire point still because I don't really see much of a difference in that bullet velocity. And maybe if I'm missing the headshot and I'm going for leg shots or torso shots, that damage range might actually make a difference, whereas I get a higher damage value from the same amount of distance shot. So sometimes maybe a 35-meter snipe in the leg might do more damage if I have the spire point rounds as opposed to the high velocity. And that might actually be the difference of me like finishing somebody off, thirsting somebody, or getting them weak enough for my teammate to kill them. And of course, we're going to go ahead and throw on the sonic suppressor. This is going to be the best in slot for bullet velocity. It gives you 13% bullet velocity and 5% damage range. So that's just kind of just a no-brainer. Definitely want to throw that on. Also gives you no negative ADS attributes. The Zang barrel is absurd. You have 25% damage range, and it gives you 10% bullet velocity. The FSS OLE laser is going to go ahead and just give you really juicy ADS speeds. And now this is where it gets a little bit different, guys. I like using the bolt. It does only give you about what? I mean, a 38% faster fire rate is kind of insane, honestly, in the rechambering time. I like this because if I'm maybe shooting at 3-4 dudes or maybe 2 dudes, even if it's just anything more than one guy, or even maybe even one guy, if I'm not hitting my first headshot or if I'm going for a double body shot, I think it makes a pretty dramatic difference to just go ahead and tee off with multiple shots. So I do like this ephemeral quick bolt attachment just because I get that juicy fire rate, but not everyone's the same. So if you don't feel like you need the extra shots, or you're just literally the greatest player of all time, you don't miss headshots, maybe you could go ahead and opt for an ADS attachment like a phantom grip, or I see a lot of people using a stock for the ADS. A tactical pad stock has faster ADS, or if you're like other people, some people even like using a different sight. I've seen the Forge Tag Delta. It's just going to be kind of preference for you. I like building it for max fire rate, so it's just the way I like to use it. And now the shotgun build, guys. This thing has been swept under the radar as well. I think the shotgun is probably one of the best guns in the game. It shoots insanely fast. This thing could out TTK any gun up close because of just how fast it shoots and how tight the hip fire is. So this shotgun is very, very, very good, and I definitely think you should run it if you're into shotguns. So we're just going to build it for maximum hip fire control and max mobility. This thing is very broken. I would not be surprised if it gets nerfed. So be sure you're checking the patch notes if you're watching this after Season 2. Just make sure it didn't get nerfed and you're wondering, well, your builds are ass, brother. I'm never going to watch another one of these again. Just make sure you're looking at the patch notes if this thing's not killing 2 shots for you. I got the Bruin Bastion angled grip. Just look at the hip fire spread min and spread max. Minus 33% is absurd, so definitely go ahead and throw that on. You're going to have a nice tight hip fire. With that attachment, we're going to go ahead and throw on the Crown Breaker choke on top of that. And look at this, minus 50%. And then minus 15% max. Guys, wait until I show you guys in the firing range how small the hip fire on this thing is. Just wait for it. So these 2 attachments are going to go ahead and just, these are the bread and butter right there of tightening that hip fire. So for the barrel, I'm going to go ahead and throw on the Lockwood Defender Heavy Long Barrel. Controversial take, the Bryson Hammerforge actually has better damage stats, but I don't know what it is. I feel like with this bad boy, I just feel like my hits register more and I get more 2-shot hits. You could try the Hammer Forged. On paper, it is better. You get more bullet velocity, you get more damage range, but the only downside is you lose 4 shots. 10 shots is still absurd. 6 shots, maybe if you're playing trios or quads, maybe 6 shots isn't enough. The Lockwood Defender Heavy Long Barrel is definitely going to be your go-to for trios and quads for sure. But maybe Hammer Forge might work for you if you're a solo or duo player. Just go ahead and maybe try both of them and see which one works better for you. Of course, we're going to go ahead and have the sawed-off stock mod here. There's going to be the bulk of our movement speed on this thing. It's just going to crank up all of our movement attachments. And of course, the thing that makes this thing insanely broken, you have to make sure you have this attachment on. The express light bolt, guys. This is going to give you 80% faster rate of fire, guys. 80%. Kind of insane. That means you're literally shooting almost twice as fast if you have this attachment on. Throw this thing on and you will out time to kill basically every gun in the game up close. Show you guys what I was referring to earlier. You're not gonna even believe how small the hip fire in this thing is. Are you guys ready for this? We're gonna hop into the firing range. Look at the size of this hit. Look at this thing. It is like a, I mean, it's a 2-shot kill from insane. Guys, try this thing out. It is so crazy. If you're obviously moving around, you want to be careful. But as soon as you kind of strafe, that hip fire is going to go ahead and tighten up. So just, even when you're moving, I mean, realistically, it still is a tiny hip fire. So guys, give this thing a try. It is probably the most broken gun in the game right now. Alrighty, guys. And this is just going to be the bonus. This is going to be kind of a bonus honorable mention. The Striker 9 need to get a bit of a buff. And if you maybe don't have the HRM leveled up, you could definitely just go ahead and throw on this build. So what I use the L4 flash hider. And this is going to be based like a really movement heavy SMG. Just a lot of fun to use. So this is going to be my build that I made personally. The DR6 hand stop is going to go ahead and crank up all your movement attributes as well. And you're going to see a little, you're going to see a lot of movement attachments here. We're going to go ahead and throw on that Striker Factory stock as well. It's going to go ahead and crank up even more movement. Now the stock and shred to kind of control a little bit of that recoil down in the 50 round mag. And if you go into the range, guys, the strafe on this gun is pretty absurd. And once again, I mean, it's not really going to be moving much while still having pretty solid strafe. And of course, if you're one of those guys that do like sights on your subs, always on most of the builds, whether you get them from here, from Twitter, from wherever, you can just either opt to take off the underbarrel or the rear grip. Guys, most people are going to be using a recoil control rear grip or a movement underbarrel. So you're going to want to kind of be like, do I want to get rid of more movement or do I want to get rid of more recoil? And that's kind of, you know, the sacrifice you have to make if you do want to run an optic. Bonus honorary mention. I'm going to start doing this for every season that we do one of these videos on. It's going to be like an LMG or just a gun with a lot of bullets for all the homies out there that are maybe not the most accurate. So this is going to be the Pulemyot. And this build for me personally did not change whatsoever. It did get nerfed, but I still run the exact same build as the pre-nerf that everybody was running. All the streamers and all the tournament players and everybody was running this exact same build. And I feel like it's still very good. So this is what I have on it. I have the Spirit Fire Suppressor, of course, for that damage range and for the recoil control. I have the Jack Annihilator barrel. This thing just absolutely jacks up your effective damage range by over 33%, which is crazy. 20% bullet velocity as well. Very, very, very nutty. As always, optics going to be completely up to you. I always love the Corio Eagle Eye. If you don't know what to use, just throw this thing on. You can't really go wrong with it. And of course, the Command D reduction, 20% more recoil reduction. And you do have to have the Jack Annihilator Bullpup kit. I don't actually know exactly how you get it. But it'll tell you. So if you don't have this thing, just go ahead and scroll over. I don't think it was very hard to get. So you might just want to go do that in a shipment or something if you don't have this thing. This is going to be the best spray and pray gun in the game currently. All right, guys. So with that being said, that was my first iteration of best loadouts for the current season. That was season 1.5 Reloaded. I'm going to be doing one for season 2. I do not want to BS you guys. I'm not trying to get views and clicks and just throw out stuff right away. I'm going to give it a couple days, guys. When the new season comes out, I actually want to experiment. I want to watch streams. I want to watch other people play. I want to test things out myself. Where, by the way, I do stream 8 to 10 hours every single day on twitch.tv/rallied and over here on YouTube, youtube.com/rallied, and even on TikTok, tiktok.com/rallied Warzone, rallied.wz. So if you guys want to ever watch us try out any of these builds or playing with the homies, we're live every single day. But yeah, I don't want to BS you guys and give you guys some random builds that may or may not be complete garbage just to kind of get videos out as fast as possible. I want to actually give you guys quality loadouts that I would use myself and stuff that you're actually going to see if you do come to any of my live streams. You're going to probably see me use these builds that I'm going to be giving you guys because I want to be giving you guys the best builds and stuff that I would use myself, not just crank out some garbage loadout videos for you guys for views that I'm probably going to make for a video and then never use again. So with that being said, thanks for watching and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and I'll see you guys in the lives. Take care. You look good. Goodbye.